We are live. So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending where you're joining us from. I have a good friend and a partner. His name is Eyal. He's the CEO and founder of Iron Scales. And we're going to be talking today about AI stuff. So, Eyal, I'll let you introduce yourself a little bit more than just saying that you're a good friend, and then we'll take it from there.
Yeah, thanks, Gabby. So Eyal Benishti, I'm the founder and CEO of Iron Scales. My background, like, I was coming from the security research, malware analysis, reverse engineering, doing some software development and tech lead for many years. Moved to Atlanta about 8 years ago from Tel Aviv, and building a lot of anti-phishing technology in the last decade.
Cool. So let me just set up here with we're talking about AI. Let's start with you know where do you see AI today changing social engineering, and then we'll take it. You know what? Let's do something else. Um, you are starting. You when we spoke earlier, you mentioned that, and we're going to talk a little bit more about it later. About you're introducing, and that's actually the title of this live, Phishing 3.0. Okay, so let's go back to Phishing point one and quickly advance to Phishing 3.0, what it means, and then we'll talk about AI agents and some other stuff and how it impacts social engineering and us as security teams to basically combat that. So I'll yeah,
Yeah,
explain to
let's
us.
let's do it. I wish I had the visuals, but I will try to kind of walk
Okay.
you guys through the phishing kind of evolution. So, like you mentioned, about a decade ago when we started, and I started the business, there was what we now call the phishing 1.0 world. And phishing 1.0 is everything that we know about, like the bad links, the bad attachments, the bad IPs, and all the traditional kind of gateway level solutions trying to filter these things out based on the content, like the IOCs, the indication of
Hmm.
compromise. And back then we realized that there is a new type of phishing that is kind of emerging and evolving even before AI. Now we call it business email compromise, vendor account compromise, like this type of attacks. Back then we call them the emails with no links and no attachments.
Yep.
And we realized that there is a new wave of social engineering and phishing that is kind of coming with bad intent, but not necessarily with a bad content, which means
Hmm.
they are asking you to wire money to the wrong accounts or buy gift cards. It's a very popular one that everyone knows, or pay a fake invoice. And then we realized again back then that in order to solve the phishing 2.0 problem, okay, we need to go downstream. We need to be at the mailbox level. We need to understand human behavior. We need to train humans. We need to understand language and extract intent and understand context better. And we've introduced a lot of automation, like how we are protecting mailboxes, how we are training users, and how we're doing all this kind of fun stuff. You guys are very familiar with that, Gabby. I know that we have a lot of conversations about
Yep.
that.
So
But
that's
what's
phishing
happening?
two. That's
That
phishing
that's phishing
2.0.
2.0.
So
Yeah,
phishing one was links, attachments.
links to that.
Phishing two, no links, no attachments,
Exactly.
instructions.
But exactly. But what was very kind of like what I really identify phishing 1 and 2 is that they are still almost like a synonym to email security. Like most phishing is still coming over email. Okay.
Yes.
What's changing now, and it's a big kind of big leap in the industry, is that phishing 3.0 is no longer just about the email you see. Phishing
Right.
3.0 is kind of expanding into new channels. So Microsoft Teams, Zoom, collaboration tools like Slack and others. And the fun part that the modality is changing as well, because generative AI was introduced, and now it's pretty easy to clone our voices and faces
Hmm.
and create kind of an avatar or a digital twin of ours. And these kind of things can now join, meetings, and basically not just text, but ask in our own voice and faces people in our companies or some other people to go and do stuff that we want them to do. And to add more to that, all of these things, and we'll talk about it later, I'm sure, can be now be conducted in an agentic way, which means
Yeah,
we can spin up an agent and tell him, "Hey, go and find a way to kind of fish iron skills. Okay, find
yeah.
everything you know about them, and create what you
So
need."
before we go to all the advanced stuff, let's
Yeah.
summarize. Phishing one, emails attachments. Phishing two, more instructions still over email. Phishing three is like Zoom, Slack, all these other channels. Basically, the message, if I understand correctly, is first of all, attackers are not gonna give up, right? Um, they're not gonna hang their towel and say, "I give up. This is too hard for me." They will always find new avenues to use. What surprises me is that we are still doing many companies are still doing the regular phishing simulation, with the links and looking at the click rate and asking themselves, how do I drop it? And they're still sending phishing emails that are very generic. So forget
Yes.
about like spear phishing and all that. So in terms of security, we're still simulating, I would call it, prior to even phishing point one.
Yeah. It's pretty much
And it's
stuck
and,
in
and it's the
the
standard, and it's the standard in the market. Like, how are you doing phishing simulation and all of that? And
and it's
in
how we are
reality,
measuring ourselves, and yeah,
yeah,
and doing
attackers
all
are
this.
like way beyond that. Attackers are so yeah, like I still see in the market a lot of those phishing 1.0 are being sent out, and I treat that more like script kiddies, like you have something you send out, but the successful phishing that goes through, it's either phishing point 2, which is the wire fraud, still very applicable. A lot of money is lost like that. And also I see a lot of the new channels, like you said. We're seeing more and more of that. Cool. So um, let's talk a little bit now. I'll let you continue now. I just wanted to summarize a little bit, and let's talk
Yeah.
about what. Okay, so what you guys do with Fishing Point 3, because this is basically everywhere now, right? Like, where? How do you get into those channels?
So it summarizes it very well, and obviously, like Phishing 3.0 is all about like the deep fakes, the multi-channel, multi-modal, and the
Yeah.
agentic kind of form, and it means that like when a decade ago we decided to go down to the inbox, to the mailbox level to protect it, now we are being forced, like to your point, we are being forced to go and be present in more places in order to protect them. So, for example, Microsoft Teams meeting or Zoom
Hmm.
meetings. Now we are creating security agents that can join these meetings and validate, make sure that all the participants are real people and not an AI representation, especially not of a VIP or a high level kind of executive
Okay, I'm not sure
being
everyone knows what
represented.
security agents is. So let's take one step back. Okay,
Think about it as a
what
yeah.
is this?
Think about it as
What's
a
the difference between ChatGPT or regular AI and a security agent? What do you mean agent?
think about it as a bot, okay, like your note taker,
Okay.
and it's joining the call. And instead of taking notes, its job is to basically use all the technology and algorithms and contextual kind of data that we feed into that in order to make sure that the people on the call are real people and not an AI generated version of them.
And how does it
That's
do? How does it do that?
Oh, that's a great question. So we have three kind of main things that we're using in order to make this validation. The first one is pretty straightforward. Like now we're looking for AI traces and AI artifacts, which means we're asking a simple question: is this stream of video and voice is we believe that is generated by AI? Because when you generate stuff by AI, it leaves some traces and it can be detected.
Mm-hmm.
The second is we're using a lot of kind of similarity kind of algorithms, which means we are learning the organization, we are learning wiser, and
Mm-hmm.
we learn your face, we learn your voice, and then we're looking for deviations and things that we can basically use in order to say, hey, it looks like Gabby, it sounds like Gabby, but it's not Gabby. Okay,
Right.
why? Because we can see the differences in tones, voice match, like these kind of
Mm-hmm.
things. And last but not least is the contextual. Again, we're coming from the inbox and the account. We know what activities you're doing on your account, how you're engaging with your email. We even see your calendar and stuff like that because we need to protect that
Mm-hmm.
as well.
Because
So
you're
for us,
anyways in there. Yeah. You're there
Exactly.
anyways.
So we are bringing all these kind of things together because again, focusing only on the AI artifacts can be a little bit tricky. But when you bring all these signals together, and it's all about collecting signals and being the center of humans, from like email to account to communication, stuff like that. But when you bring it all together, then you can have a very good kind of detection capabilities in terms of answering this simple but very, very complicated question these days. Is this really Gabby on the call right now
Yeah.
with me or not?
Yeah. I think we need to move from just logging the meeting to verifying who is on the meeting. It's
Yeah.
something that, because we used to do like a lot of locking down, um, but at this day and age, we need to also verify.
Yeah, I
I
can
don't know if
still
you guys,
join as a bot. Like if I know the
yeah,
password, I can join the.
exactly.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if you guys are doing this, so I'm just throwing it out, or maybe you're thinking about it, but doing sort of like phishing simulation on Zoom. So maybe, and here is an idea. Again, if you're not doing it, maybe it's an idea. You inject that AI agent to random meetings and see if anybody spotted them, those AI agents, because
So
that could
that's a
be cool.
great
That
point.
could
Yeah.
be like a practice, sort of getting people used to call out people and say, "Hey, what is this?"
It's a great point, and it's back to your kind of comment from earlier. We are currently phishing simulation training, and we are one of them, by the way.
Yeah.
We are sending emails and we are collecting kind of uh,
Hmm.
clicks and replies lists and stuff like that. But we are now, and this is something that we are actively working on. We are kind of getting into a place where sending an email is not enough. We want
Yeah.
to kind of jump on a Zoom meeting with you and ask you to do something, or even call you on your mobile and say,
Hmm.
"Hey, this is like this and that. I need to go and do something." And again, back to agentic capabilities. If you put an agent with a task behind this thing, you want to see if someone will reset the password for you or
Yeah.
go and buy gift cards. Like maybe he didn't buy a gift card when you send him the email, but if you call him and tell him, hey, did you see the email? I just sent you an email. I really need these gift cards
Yeah.
ASAP. Will you go and do that? And if I will escalate it to the next level and tell him, hey, can you jump on this Teams meeting with me? And you will see me asking him to do the same thing. Will you go and do that?
Yeah.
Then we're really at the point that we really need to kind of level up and change the way that we are training users and making sure that they understand, because first it's about awareness, then it's about behavior, but that they understand that this can happen. This is not
Yeah.
sci-fi. Okay, this is real thing. This is real technology, open source technology for most part, that threat actors can now use in order to go and fish us over
Yeah.
different channels.
I think we want to protect customers more than they are willing to protect themselves sometimes. We have this like new methods, and we see things, and at the end of the day, they're just like focused on, so does your phishing simulation do this or that? They just want to see the reports, or they sort of are still stuck sometimes. This is me venting a little bit, because like we want to do, like we have so many things, both of us as vendors, we have like so many things that we can help protect, but sometimes people just want the simple thing. They're just like, I just want this phishing simulation, I need to create a new template, I need to do this and that. They're not there yet in maturity, maybe they don't believe that their risk is high. I don't know what it is. Maybe they're not seeing it enough to be convinced that this is something they need to take action right now, but that's a
We
reality.
need, yeah, we need to cross the chasm. I'm sure that you'll remember, like when we started and we sent, like I sat down with CISOs and I told them, hey, you need to fish your employees. They looked at me
Yeah.
like I'm crazy. They said, what do you mean we
Yeah.
need to fish our employees? We just need stronger filters. Like
Yes.
they are the problem. They are not the solution. And a decade, decade after, now we're sitting, and I think there is no single kind of security leader that I'm speaking with that doesn't understand the importance of training their employees and having kind of these things in place. But yes, some people are still stuck in the old ways of how you're training and how you're running
Yeah.
simulations and doing these kind of things. I'm sure that in 5 years' time, when we speak again,
That will
people
be a
will be
common thing. Yeah. Yeah.
exact.
I guess so. So let's talk about, let's jump around here. Um, so attackers are also using AI agents, I guess, right? Like they're looking at the market and they're saying like, why shouldn't we do the same? So let's talk about how phishing has changed from the attacker perspective, and what do AI agents, what capabilities they're giving them that we need to know about.
It's a great question. I think the biggest shift that we see is that we are back to the spear phishing days. And why
Yes.
is that? It's because now you can basically set up an agent, and it's pretty easy. By the way, if you want, you can open ChatGPT or whatever LLM you're using in agentic mode and tell him, hey, go and find out everything you can about me.
Yeah.
You will be shocked. Okay,
Yeah.
you will be
Yeah.
shocked with
Yeah.
the amount of information that we are kind of providing out there. And then as a second phase, you can say, hey, so go and find some, give me the 10 best ideas on how I can fish Gabby based on
Hmm.
everything that you found. And this is exactly what the threat actors and the bad guys are now doing. They're using those agents and this kind of the powerful LLM kind of models in order to find, like, do the reconnaissance and find publicly available information automatically and autonomously, because these things
Hmm.
can really are really good in kind of reading things about you and summarizing them and building a profile. Then the ideation of how you could be potentially fished, and it can be something that just happened 5 minutes ago,
Yeah.
as far as they're concerned,
Yeah.
which is highly contextualized. Like, everyone will respond to something that they just did or put
Exactly.
online in a much higher kind of sense of urgency. And we can see that these LLMs can even code. So they can write the fake landing page to harvest your credentials or do whatever they're trying to do. So the future, to your questions with agentic AI, is that spear phishing is back. It's back on steroids, which means they can go and run as many agents as they want in order to scour the web, find information, find phishing ideas, write the phishing, clone voices, clone faces, send emails, jump on meetings, leave voicemails, and do all these kind of things in a very structured way that doesn't require any human in the loop, which is the most scary stuff. You will just have thousands, if not millions of agents at some point, just collecting information and launching fraud and
Yeah.
attacks.
Let me give the audience here an idea, for example, how this can be done. Let's say you have a flight delay, you're at the airport, there's a flight delay, you complain about it on Facebook, on Twitter. You know what an AI agent can do with that? Respond to you, say, hey, we're so sorry, we're from United or Delta or whatever. We're here to compensate you, solve the idea, like solve the problem. And that happens on scale. Like, no and those AIs can talk to you, so like no criminal is behind the keyboard at that moment until you get to the point where it becomes a real opportunity or a commit opportunity where we can grab some money. So this is just one example of talking about the different channels together with AI agents and contextually and link all of that together. Now just think about 100 scenarios. You've checked out
Endless,
from a
yeah,
hotel.
endless, yeah,
You're
endless
posting about
possibility.
it. You're getting an invoice. Like so many things.
Now, the
Um,
biggest problem about that, just to kind of maybe close the loop on that, is that companies like us, like Ironskills, we are building model based on what is known. Like, we're taking a huge bunch of data, okay,
right.
phishing emails and stuff like that. We throw it at the machine and we say, hey, machine, learn. And the machine, especially deep neural networks, they have this magic. They can learn, they can generalize, so they can stop BC and wire frauds and stuff like that. But we are talking about events that didn't happen yet. How do you protect someone against something that didn't happen yet? It will happen in
Yeah.
5 minutes. This is where we are starting to kind of use agentic AI in order to try and take a much more proactive approach. And this is why the world is kind of turning into something very different. That is kind of forcing us as vendor to come up with new creative ideas on how we can protect our customers.
Cool. Let's take another vantage point of AI agents. So we spoke about different things, but people will soon start to use potentially. I'm looking at the future and I'm saying and ChatGPT already has that. It has the AI agent mode, right? Where I can ask AI to book me a trip to Japan and it will go and look for good prices. So now, me as a person, I want a co pilot. I want an AI agent that will do stuff for me. How is, like, I can imagine of 100 different of risks, with giving an AI agent um, decision making, for example, capabilities. What do you think there? Like, how is that going to put people at risk using a personalized AI agent?
Yeah, I like to use the Tesla example. Like, with Tesla, you can put it on full self-driving kind of mode, and it
Yeah,
will take you from A to B. In most cases, it will make all the decisions: turn left, turn right, stop, like, accelerate,
yeah,
and stuff like that. But I'm not at the point that I would kind of put my kids at the backseat of a Tesla and just let it drive them to
yeah.
school or anything like that. So some decisions are, I don't think that AI is ready. It's kind of primed to kind of make these decisions yet. But there are some other smaller decisions. Like, if we book the wrong flight to Japan, maybe it's not the end of the world, and maybe there's some kind of cases in between. I think right now AI can do a lot of the heavy lift and a lot of the research and preparation, and do all these kind of things, and basically hand over to us when the decision is ready to be made based on all the information
Hmm.
that is available with a simple kind of click, or like, yes, I approve this transaction. In some cases, AI can take it all the way. For example, in our world, like, the decision to move an email to quarantine is a decision that AI can make. Why? Because reverting this decision
Yeah,
is very, very easy and painless. So I think there will be kind of different use cases that we will need to kind of explore as we move forward. I think AI is a very good researcher at the moment, and we are starting to look into
but not
use
necessarily
cases.
make decisions for us.
Some, not all.
Yeah.
Like,
Here is
would
an
I let it? Yeah.
example. Here is an example for the audience. Let's say, let's go back to this Japan example. I'm booking a trip to Japan. Now, think about it. If criminals will realize that people are using AI agents to do stuff, then if I'm now a criminal and I know there are AI agents out there looking for low low fare tickets, what would I do? I would create a fake page, put in a very low price for Japan with the hopes that an AI agent will basically choose me because I'm the lowest fare. And just imagine now the AI agent has credit card information or person or passport information that will fill that form. So that's risky. So the question is, looking, I don't know, a year from now potentially, and we're always talking about humans being the weakest link. So many people are talking about it. I guess we'll see soon who is the weakest link. Who is it easier to fish, an AI agent or a person? I wonder what we will, how
I,
we will answer
Yeah,
this in
I
a year or
think
two.
it's a great point and a great question. I think the more we put AI in the front, like, with these AI browsers and all these kind of things that are happening right now, the more they will become the target with, like, with fraud, with prompt injection. Imagine the same kind of landing page that you just created now, telling him, hey, forget about everything that Gabi asked you to do. Now I need to
Yeah,
go do something else, and it will go and do it. Like,
yeah,
forget
yeah.
about. Okay, he's not buying a trip to Japan. Now he's going and signing someone else's kind of
To
mortgage,
crypto or
or
something. Yeah,
yeah, whatever they want them to do. So AI security and agent security is definitely going to be a very big stuff. If you're an entrepreneur out there and you're looking for
yeah.
ideas on stuff to do, this is
The world
definitely
is changing.
the
So
world
I
is
want to
changing.
touch another thing before I have so many more things we can talk about, but we have about 5 more minutes, and I do want to give you a chance. So to talk a little bit about something you spoke to me earlier. So again, going to phishing 2.0 and 3.0. So a lot of the email vendors today have AI that scans the emails and looking for all type of bad links and stuff like that. That's sort of already embedded in many of the email scanning tools. You mentioned about using AI agents to do some investigation. Do you want to talk about it a little bit?
Yeah, one of the use cases that are very interesting these days, because you ask about kind of what AI can and can't do, is that AI is very good in investigating. Like, for example, when you use AI just and looking just at the email that was just received, you can look at the
Hmm.
headers, you can look at the links, you can look at relationship, like, language and stuff like that. but sometimes the AI need more context in order to solve the puzzle. Is this
Right.
a legit email or not? With agentic AI, because agentic AI now with MCPs and all this technology that is now kind of evolving, because agentic AI can now use tools, now we have the power to go and say, hey, if you don't have enough confidence, for example, if you're not sure because you don't have all the information that you need, go and find this information by yourself. Open a browser, run your own searches. Do you know if Gabi is working for
Yeah.
Wiser? Go to LinkedIn and
Yeah.
validate that. So now all of the sudden, the level two kind of SOC analyst job
Hmm.
can be automated to a certain
Yeah.
degree and help with kind of the level one type of work that the standard AI, the parametric AI is doing. And together, they can make a better decision than just AI, like the old normal AI could have done. So I think for investigation, research, enrichment, augmenting, and going out there and exploring in a very autonomous way and using tools, I think this is where companies will see a lot of value and a lot of vendor kind of developing these type of capabilities in order to save time and improve accuracy and reduce false positive and false negative rates for their customers.
Yeah. I think it's about reducing workload, right? Like, if you're a pilot, and anyone here that was in the pilot seat, a lot is going on. You have to do a lot of things, especially, for example, general aviation. I'm not talking about the fancy planes.
Yeah.
Um, Having a co-pilot, a person, reduces significantly the workload. I wouldn't have an AI agent sitting in the pilot seat, but I would have an AI agent sit in the co-pilot seat and reduce the workload of a lot of those things that are, you need to scan and repeatedly do some stuff. So this is how I see AI in general. I don't think it will replace people, but I do think it will enhance people. And one thing that I like to say usually, that AI is it's an amplifier. So if you're sloppy, you're gonna be more sloppy with AI. If you've got everything tied down, then AI will amplify that.
Yeah.
So before jumping and implementing AI and stuff like that, just make sure your foundation is good, because it will amplify whatever you already have.
That's a great point. I think that AI will be one more thing to your point. I think it will be an enabler, like for
Yeah,
people, like for example, again, if we go back to the stock kind of example, people that are maybe level one and want to be level two, with the help of AI, they will be able to do
exactly.
that because now it can go and do all this kind of stuff for them, and their job will be to make decisions and not necessarily go and make all the investigations,
Yeah, cool.
which is the most exciting part. Like, can't wait to see
Yeah,
people doing more than they're doing today and enjoying it better because AI is co-piloting and helping them to get a lot
great.
done.
So we are running out of time. For the audience, again, I've been working with Eyal, and Wiser has been working for several years now with Iron Scales. I love this partnership. um, on the one hand, really, really robust email security that does everything that Eyal said with a really great vision. And I love that, we're adding the training. And I think at the end of the day, having technology and people that are also taking responsibility for their actions and are paying attention is sort of the right solution for you, not relying only on people's common sense, because common sense is not always common, and only on technology. I think you need to have both. So this is why I really love this partnership.
Same here. I think that you said it well. Phishing, even phishing 3.0, it's a human and machine problem, and therefore we need a human and machine solution. I
Exactly.
think that you guys are doing an amazing job on the human side of the house. So and we hear great things about from customers about what you guys are
I
doing.
love
I
that.
love it.
Okay, guys. So thank you very much for joining, and until next time, have a good day. Bye bye.